champions. Good evening. It is a beautiful Wednesday. Welcome to Facebook Live Wednesday Wellness. I am thrilled to be here. It's been a long day. I am excited though. I voted today. Well, I can't find my badge, but I voted today and I'm really thrilled about it. I was able to exercise my constitutional right. So I hope that you are not waiting to the last minute. You're going to go out and vote. We're going to vote yes to love, yes to hope, yes to humanity, yes to acceptance. So yeah, I'm challenging you to, take advantage, but I'm really excited today. But I'm more excited because I'm back for another episode of our series that we've been doing for a while now. We're talking about the 5 main factors that help with inflammation. So guards us against inflammation. We talked about hydration being one of them, sleep, stress management, and today we are going to talk about fitness. Now I'm going to use the word interchangeably, fitness, exercise, but exercise kind of has a bad rep. But we're going to, if you hear it, it's just really fitness. So the top reasons to develop a fitness mindset. But before I get to that, let me introduce myself to those of you that don't know me. I am Dr. Babalola, aka Dr. Babs. I am a family physician and I am the founder of Living at Your Finest Corporation. This is a corporation where I use both a fun, fundamental, and a faith-based framework to help women to live at their finest health and personal development without engaging in the complexity of the diet culture cycle. So I'm really excited to be here and just with you. I love engagement, so please let's stay engaged. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching live or if you're watching as a replay, please let's engage together. We are stronger and healthier together when we communicate with one another. So please leave a comment, all right? Share with friends and family that will benefit from this live event. Well, let's get to it, right? Let's get to why fitness is important. I am going to review the benefits. I'm going to talk about the types with recommendations, and I'm also going to talk about best practices. With some guidance, I'm going to share a slide, but overall, what do we mean by fitness? It's just really what it does for us. It helps our overall health and it reduces the risk of many chronic diseases. I would like to share a slide here that will share more light on what I'm referring to. All right, this is 50 reasons to exercise. There are tons of reasons. So we need to know our why. For us to do it, we need to know why we're doing it. But I know that everybody knows by now that it's important, right? This is just going to be a reminder. The most important one that stands out for me is reducing stress. And I have a personal, I can relate to the reducing stress because about 12 years ago, I was so stressed, had a toddler, just had another baby, and I was so stressed that my blood pressure was like 220 over 120. It was so high because I had increased cortisol. It was just so terrible that I had to be on 3 blood pressure medicines, and it really took me exercising. When you exercise, you bring down your cortisol level, you're more relaxed. You see other reasons here on the list. It builds your self-esteem, you improve learning ability. I mean, who doesn't want to have improved learning ability? Whatever career you're in, it helps your mood. You feel fresh or renewed. You feel like you can climb a mountain. There's just tons of endorphin release that helps. Fights dementia, eases your back pain, reduces the risk of diabetes. Just exercising alone, studies have shown that for a good 16 hours after exercising reduces your blood pressure because it relaxes your vessels. Sugar also that is so high actually comes down. I remember I have a professor that, he had diabetes and has diabetes, although it's diet control, he will go on long walks and his sugar would have come down by the time he's done with his walk. So there are tons of reasons that we need to exercise. That is our big why. Now let's turn gears and talk about recommendations. What are the recommendations, right? So we know why we should exercise. There are over 50 reasons to exercise. So the question is, what's the recommendation? So the standard, the American Heart Association came out with a standard where it is 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise, right? Or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. But I don't want you to feel threatened by this if you not one that exercises. So some people, I have patients that'll tell me, I walk up and down the stairs, excuse me, I walk up and down the stairs. Why do I need to exercise? There's a difference between being active, which we're supposed to be because our bodies are made that way. We need to be active. We can't sit down for long hours because our blood becomes stagnant, oxygen is decreased, for several reasons. So that's different from exercising and staying fit, because with that, you raise your heart rate to a certain level. Now, you can start slow wherever you are, just start somewhere. That's the important thing. But knowing this as, a yardstick will definitely help. Now I'm going to talk about the types of exercise. Cardiovascular, if you've heard of that, that is where you get your heart rate all high to a certain level. This is several ways: running, walking, brisk walk, swimming. Let me actually share a slide that will, I love pictures. Pictures paint 1,000 words. So let's share this. All right, so here, cardiovascular. So swimming, getting your heart rate to a certain level really does help blood flow, helps with the oxygenation, keeps you in good mood, endorphin rush. So there are tons of cardiovascular exercises that you can do. Strength, the beauty about strength is that when you're sleeping, you're burning calories because you're building muscle. You're building muscle because you need muscle. Muscle is what helps you build up your metabolism. It gives you that posture and that leanness. So we need to do that, especially women. I'm all about, helping women live at their finest health, that we maintain this muscle, because as you get older, you lose the muscle and you want to build it. You want to feel strong, right? And if you're not used to weights, that's fine. You can actually, have like water bottles of 16 ounce, or you can actually pull your strength against your own body weight. Use your own gravity as your strength. Flexibility helps with posture, helps to reduce injuries, and then of course balance. So these are the types of exercises, and you can use all of this within that time frame that I mentioned. All right, so let's talk a little bit more. What are some of the best practices? If we're gonna, stay fit, we gotta do it the right way, right? So our pre-workout routines. Prep. You gotta prep. I know it works out better for me if I plan the night before, right? I know, okay, I'm working in the morning on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's not gonna happen. I'll probably not have that as an exercise day. The days where I'm not having to go to work very early in the morning, I can exercise. So prep. Get your clothes out. I find out that when I lay my clothes out, what I'm gonna wear, I'm not struggling to figure out what shoes, all of that. So really prepping. It's the same thing everywhere. Failing, how they say, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Hydration, we gotta stay hydrated. You definitely want to go exercising on an empty stomach, whether it's meal, a light meal, or just staying hydrated. If you didn't listen to the live Facebook Live on hydration, please listen to it because it tells you the importance of hydration. And for those that don't like water, how you can make your water, spice it up a little bit so that you like water. Now, depending on when you exercise, for me, I exercise in the morning because in the evenings I'm already tired, so I don't have that much energy after a long day. But if I do exercise in the evening, I've already eaten, so it's not a big deal. But in the morning, some of you might want to exercise on an empty tummy. You just have to be your best teacher. You figure out what works well for you. But the important thing is, if you're going to do anything vigorous, right, you really have to have some foil in you have to be able to have the energy to do so. Proper clothing, I cannot overemphasize that. Proper shoes, proper, your socks, your shoe, depending on the weather. All of this is so important. Now, the one that I want to stress the most here is stretches. A lot of us, we always just go right into exercising, and it really does defeat the whole purpose. The reason why you need to do a dynamic stretch, and what that means is repetitive stretches. All right, you want to do that repetition because you're really waking up your muscle, especially if you're exercising in the morning. You've been sleeping, lying down the whole night, you want to wake up, you want to get that blood flowing. If you don't do that, you're going to have injuries, and you don't want to have injuries, because if you have injuries, then you're not going to do it again. So dynamic stretches. So even if it is like, having your knee raised, but you do repetition just to get the, warm and nice. That's so important. Now, what about our post workout routines? We have a few here. Again, hydration. Hydration is so key. You want to make sure that you eat properly. After a workout, you've depleted your store. So you want to make sure at least protein. You don't want to now go eat a donut and defeat the whole benefits of exercising, right? You got to eat nutritious meal. And I'm so mindful of this. Gone are the days where I used to just eat anything that comes my way. I really want to nourish my body, right? I've sweat, sodium, all of that is out. So you want to drink water. You want to eat a good protein to build those muscles, right? Because you've worked your muscles. So you want it to heal properly. So you got to give yourself good fuel, and protein is usually the one that is recommended. You can have some carbohydrate, but just make sure that you nourish yourself. Now, static stretches. This is so important, because I've been guilty of this, where, oh, I'm done exercising, I'm just going to go about my day. No, you got to stretch. Now, this stretch is different, because you avoid injury by doing this kind of stretch, where you maintain the stretch for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. All right. So if you're touching your toes or you're bending down, just stretch, maintain that stretch, because that way you avoid injury. You're helping with your flexibility. The muscles are loosened, so there's a lot of benefits. And again, you flush out all the toxins and all the byproducts. So again, I really hope that you take this to heart and see the benefit of doing it. Because if you don't do this stretches before and after, it's really going to affect your sustainability of exercising and working out. Now, there are a few exercises, excuses that we give ourselves, and we all need to be mindful of these, right? The first one that I used to tell myself is, I don't have time. Oh my gosh, there's just so much to do, or I don't have energy. Now, what your best practices that have been shown to help with saying I don't have time is, okay, well, 30 minutes, 5 days a week. My 30 minutes doesn't have to be all at once, right? If I tell you a little secret here, whenever I'm working super hard and I'm not going to have time to exercise, whenever I'm in the restroom, I use it as a reminder to do squats, or, I just do a quick, stretch here and there, do 10 minutes here, do it 3 times, you get your 30 minutes, right? So you have to be creative. You got to be creative about it. For every hour you sit, get up and take a lap around wherever you are. There are tons of things that we can do. So there's time. We just got to create time. No energy, you got to figure out when you have your most energy, might be when you need to work out. Comparison. That's like a downer. It definitely slows you down. You are your own best teacher. You are your own competition. It's not the next door neighbor. It's just you, right? It is progress, not perfection. So we need to remember that. Don't look at anybody else. You just do what works best for you. All right? Past failures, it doesn't matter. We are getting better every day. We just have to take those steps and get better every day. Now, of course, having an accountability partner is excellent, but not that they should help to push you, motivate you, but not that you feel that, oh, well, you can't catch up with them. I remember when I ran my first Peachtree race, my dear friend, her and her friends, they were experts. They've been running for a while, and I was always tagging behind. They would encourage me, but they moved at their pace, and very soon I was able to catch up with them. So just again, move at your own pace, be motivated. Don't let your progress slow you down. Weather, I love. Now I've learned from my aunt, who is 86 years old and has exercised all her life. She walks at least 4 miles. She's cut back now, but she looks at the weather. She pays attention to the weather, because the weather was my one big excuse not to exercise. But I've learned that weather is not an excuse anymore, right? Because you can take a lap in the house. There's several YouTube videos you can do an exercise. You just really have to plan ahead. Injury. That's another big excuse that we say, well, I have knee pain, I have shoulder pain. Well, move at your own pace, and there are modifications everywhere. There are tons of modifications, so we can't use that as an excuse. You just have to find what works well for you. We spent a lot of time on that. Now let us talk about our call to action. It's really about what we're going to do and how we're going to apply SMART goals to apply fitness. I know as busy individuals, men and women, we're busy. We have things to do, but we have to understand the benefits and why we're doing it, right? You saw the 50 reasons why we have to do it. It makes us feel good and it keeps us here longer, healthier, right? Not an illness or taking medications. Prevention is better than cure. So for those reasons, I make sure that I incorporate exercise into my schedule. I want to make sure it's specific what I'm going to do. I get bored easily, so I have to mix it up. Some days I do strength, some days I just dance. I just try to stay active, measurable. Let me pause here and tell you, do not use the scale as your yardstick because you're going to feel discouraged. I was discouraged so many times. Can you imagine? I would stop exercising because my pounds were going up. But then we're all different. Our composition is different. When you start exercising initially, because you're building muscle, you are going to gain weight. You're going to count. What you should pay attention to, though, are those non-skill measurables, right? Like, how do you feel? Your energy? Are you sleeping better? How is your mood? Are you less stressed? What's about your clothes? Are they fitting you better? The inches, you're going to lose inches first. So measure. I do measurements now. I mean, I might go on my scale every now and then compared to when I used to go on my scale all the time and get discouraged. So that's very important that we note that. Attainable, knowing the A stands for attainable, knowing when you're going to do it. When are you going to do it? Is it Monday? Is it Thursday? What's your schedule? What works for you? The R, relevant, that goes back to why you're doing it. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, you will fall off the chain. All right. And T is the time. Time. If you don't put it down as the time you're going to do it, it's not going to get done. So yes, I hope you will share your call to action, what you're going to do. I want to hear from you, please. All right. I love engagement. What exercise do you do? How are you going to keep, how are you going to get motivated? At the beginning of the year, I joined a group where it was 20 miles. And I did that I knew I wasn't going to be able to cover 20 miles in 2020, right? So I joined a group and we were so motivated together. We split the mileage amongst, a good number of interested walk run individuals. So 2021 is around the corner. So that's another race that will come up. And if you're interested, let me know so that we can partner together and get those mileage coverage and stay healthy and strong. Well, I hope you benefited. Please share, all right? Leave comments. Let's share with people that can benefit. Let us be healthy and stronger together. I hope that I will see you next time for our typical Wednesday Live, where we just talk about everything health and personal development related. Let's see if we have any comments. No comments, but okay. Well, until next time, I hope that you all stay safe and stay strong. Take care.